Gemini rising, you are moving out of a period of 8 years since 2018 to now, where Uranus has been shaking up and waking up and providing divine insight and a sense of freedom through your 12th house of the subconscious, the place of rest, faith, and surrender, the place that we go to behind the scenes when things feel kind of too much on the outside world, and perhaps your sense of what feels restful and restorative has really gone through a period of upgrade over the last 8 years as Uranus has been going through your 12th house and providing sudden shocks and changes and redirections in how you approach your sleep, for example. The Taurus house in our birth chart is always a house where we like things to stay the same. We don't like change. So when Taurus is ruling your 12th house, we like to sleep in the same bed every night. We like to sleep in our favorite sheets. We like to be just the right temperature. We like to have the window slightly cracked, allowing a cool breeze in. It's all of those things. And perhaps over the last 8 years, some of those things have been challenging. Some of those things have not been happening in the way that you would like, but you have learned new ways of comfort, new ways of leaning into your own restful practices, which have actually massively enhanced your sense of well-being. So maybe you've moved into periods of working with Reiki or intuitive skills. Maybe you are developing a stronger psychic compass and a stronger psychic world. Maybe that psychic world is infiltrating in your dream life, and perhaps it is providing you now with more restful experiences. But over the last 8 years, some of those things could have been feeling a little bit off piece, and perhaps you've been resting well over the last 8 years, but then you've had periods of time where you really have not been resting so well. So there's been a period of upgrade about finding your own self-care toolkit and really expanding that in big new ways. And perhaps using the internet, using social media has been a really good way of finding some of that information for you. Now, Gemini risings, Uranus in Gemini is moving into your first house. This is a much more personal experience of what Uranus feels like whenever we have a planet in our first house. And so for Gemini risings, this is exactly what this is. Uranus will be in your first house for the next 8 years. There's something about the planet that we embody. So the archetypes of Uranus are sudden shocks and surprises, sudden changes, a divine connection. You could become known as a great channeler of information. Perhaps you sit in audience with other people and you channel messages to other people. Perhaps you become a public speaker, and those things all happen in a very kind of quick and rapid way. And perhaps you experience a new sense of freedom and a new ability or a new way to start a conversation with yourself about how you appear in the world, what you look like, how you smell, what kind of, what's your public mask to the world? Has it changed? Is it going to change over the next 8 years? I would take a guess and say absolutely. That Gemini risings, Uranus in your first house is here to wake up and shake up your public image, the way that you meet the world. Your own personality and your physical body can undergo great changes in this time. It's almost as though your body becomes a vessel for communication. And so working in the spiritual world or working in the psychic world, that could look like learning about Reiki. That could look like working with energies that we can't necessarily feel, but it's very mercurial. So whatever we experience with Reiki energies or healing energies is something that we can communicate to the other people in a way that other people perhaps haven't been able to communicate about yet. So Gemini risings, this is a very exciting 8-year period for you. This is a great time for learning and also teaching, and becoming an absolute conduit between divine insight and sharing information in small bite-sized ways that other people can understand. And this is going to give you your own sense of vitality and freedom. This can be a big energy of trial and error when it comes to different ways of communicating. You may begin by sharing writing, you may then move on to public speaking, you may play musical instruments to share your messages, you may take photographs. It all depends what kind of medium you like to do this in. But whatever medium you choose, we think back to the last 8 years and your Venus ruled Taurus 12th house, that you are now able to communicate the beauty that came from that period of destabilizing subconscious experiences. You can now extract the beauty from it. It's almost like being able to extract the olive oil from the olive and really sit and devour that bread and olive oil and balsamic vinegar. But it took you a long time to grow the grapes, right? Not grapes, but it took you a long time to grow the olives, right? And now those olives are coming into fruition and you've got a whole field full of olive trees. And it's about deciphering, refining, how do I share which bits of my olive trees, which branches of information need to go out to people, which olives will I turn into oil, which olives will I sell as olives. And there's a real hubbub of kind of marketplace when it comes to the energy of Gemini. So you may find that everything about your body and actually just yourself, your personality, becomes a real marketplace for sharing divine inspiration over the next 8 years. Gemini in your first house is making a sextile aspect to Aries in your 11th house. So there's a brand new beginning that's taking place in your life area of communities. That's the 11th house. This is personal cheerleaders. This is your audience, if you like. There's lots of brand new beginnings taking place here with your audience. This is quite a lucky house. There's a lot of activation here with all of this Aries pile up now. So there's lots of trying new things, getting out there. We're not thinking about the long term at this point. Uranus is going to make sure about that in your first house, and Aries is going to make sure about that in your 11th house. But this is an exciting time to try things. This is an exciting time to expand your communities. What groups are you a part of? What groups do you run yourself? This is quite an entrepreneurial energy for Gemini risings. And this is really about combining your communities with your sense of self. So you are a big part of how your offerings, you're a big part of how your ideas meet the world here. And you are strongly connected to being visible with your communities at this time.